Hello, Prince. How are you? It's sunny day here. Where are you now? Are you in the Philippines or are you back in LA or West Coast? Wow, 41 degrees. Tropical and warm. Must be spending some time by the beach, I guess. It's sunny here as well today, and they have this complex that I am in. They have a outdoor pool, and so today seems to be the first day that the pool area is all dewed up, and all the beds and chairs and all that, and the pool is open. I can see. Hello, Don. How are you? Miss Pa, how are you, dear? So hope you had a good week and enjoyable one. My my setup is a little bit tilted. I think I should put this here. Maybe I can fix it like this. There we go. I think that's better. Ryan, hello, dear. There we go. We are all set up. Hope you have your tea or coffee with you, and we can have some conversation before we go on and spend our Saturday the way we had planned. Hello, Gina. Thank you, dear. I'm glad that you enjoyed the videos and glad that you could make it here and join us today. I look forward to have a lovely conversation, and perhaps it will be helpful to add to our knowledge or the way we look at things in life. So once you guys have your tea or coffee with you, we'll be open for business. And we will be discussing what's on your mind today. I hope wherever you are, you have a wonderful sunny day. Or if it's not sunny, at least it'll be sunny in your heart. And as I mentioned, today in the complex that I live in, we have an outdoor pool, and it looks like it's the first day that the pool is open. I can see people actually, one by one is adding up. There are a few people there. All the beds are done, the sun is shining, and the pool is all clean and wonderful looking. So I hope you guys are enjoying your day wherever you are, and or if it's nighttime. And have your cup of coffee and tea. I prefer tea. Actually, today I have, again, just a fruit juice and hot water. This is cranberry and blueberry juice, just a little bit, and the rest is hot water, and it's lovely, actually. So we're looking for questions. Gina, Ryan, Mispa, Don, Prince, and the ones who join us. And Seti just joined us from Toronto. Good to see you. Juan, good to see you all. Lovely to see you all here. So we are looking for a question to start our discussion. Good to see you, Seti dear. Glad that you could join us. Lynn, hello Lynn. Good to see you as well. Remember guys, when you just kindly saying your hello, just write down which part of the world you're tuning in from. I know some of you already been here, so I can kind of tell where you're coming in from, but sometimes I forget, or I don't remember. Either way, same thing, isn't it? Okay, now we'll chit chat till I see a question written here. It must be 12 midnight in India, about 7:30 or 8 or so in Europe. Probably about 5 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning in Australia. Aha, Fresno, California. Lynn, thank you, dear. Ryan, Orlando, thank you very much. Now I have a kind of an idea where you guys are. It helps, it's more pleasant. And I guess it is 11 o'clock in the Middle East somewhere. Piscine, hello dear, good to see you. Piscine says I was out. No, you're not late. We have just started, just going through the chit-chat period. And we haven't even started our first question. Good that you made it. The more the merrier. You guys know that also on Sundays I have another live talk on the amazing things in the world. That is a different Facebook page, which is it's got about 5.2 million reach. So we usually have more people there, but this is my own Facebook page, which the link is up there. I'm sure the ones that you're on. And so we have over 11 we have over 14,000 likes on the page, and so depending on the time of the day and the day, we usually get quite a good crowd right here. So I think it should be about time that somebody throws in a good juicy question that we can start our conversation. Or perhaps you're all just settling in. This is actually pretty good drink. Yeah, that's how it's going to be. I'm going to be sitting here quiet till I get a question. I'm not going to lecture today unless I have a subject. I'm all talked out. I was going to make a couple of videos during the past few days. Haven't had the chance, but there are a few subjects and topics that I want to bring to your attention. However, today we are going to be waiting until you guys. Here's a question, says, how to believe someone? Paisin, you can't just believe someone because you just like to believe them. You have to first see if the common sense tells you that it's believable or not. Secondly, I need to know the subject, because if someone tells me it's a daytime and it's sunny and I can see it myself, the same values, same measuring stick, so it's believable. But if someone tells me I love you and I just met her, well, it's kind of, obviously she may think that she loves me, but I would also got to find out what made her feel that way. Is it me that she loves, or what I can do or what I can be for her that she loves? It's two different things. So these are different criteria, some of the criteria that you want to pay attention to. Now, of course, credibility goes higher the longer we know someone, and therefore you can feel from the background of this friend that is she or he believable at all in her way of life, in how she sees herself in relation to life. Then you can have a better idea. But if you have a specific example, then that could help. Prince says, sir, you once said that this is a relative world. Yes. So if you believe what you teach us is the truth, how will you convince someone who believes otherwise of your idea if they believe in another truth? We're not talking about truth. We're talking about understanding and having the proper perception of what is out there, and to be able to tell the difference between illusion, actuality, and the illusion. Now, truth in many cases, in many things, could be only one. Like if it's sunny, that's the truth. If somebody says it's not sunny, it's not the truth. But I may be crazy enough to think that this should be called nighttime. To me, it's not the truth that is day. That's because of my consciousness. So truth for different people on certain different values could be based on the conditioning of their consciousness. So we are not talking about opinions, we're talking about how the mind functions, how the thought, consciousness, ego, desires, and fears are working together, are interrelated, are related, affect each other. That is what we call truth. Otherwise, we're not talking about the absolute or the relativity of the world. That's not where the framework of our discussions and focus of an attention is. Yeah, but it's not about what person A thinks and person B thinks. I mean, if it is obvious to most people that you shouldn't be eating dog shit. If somebody thinks that no, that's not the truth. The truth is it's nutritious. Well, that's his own stupidity. It's not about. It's a relative world, so he can think whatever the hell he wants to think. there is clarity and common sense that helps us to understand something. Otherwise, if we confuse the decency, morality, and how the mind functions and conditioning, and the limitedness of knowledge in relation to how we perceive and understand things, with how whoever wants to do whatever because it's relative world, then we're totally on the weird side, because then somebody may think abusing someone or killing or murdering, in his opinion, because it's a relative world, is the truth. It's not the truth. It's stupidity. It's wrong, no matter who says it, what says it. So we're not talking about that. Now, Don says, hi Mehran, hello Don. He says, there is a girl that I like, but she's already with someone. Okay. And I watched all your videos, and I know that it doesn't matter if she likes me or not, that my self-worth is based on me and I lost you. You're not, self-worth is based on me, and that's all. But when I see her or when she talks to me, all my convictions go away like it disappears for that moment, and I fall for her again. I can't stop interacting with her since she's my friend and we are in the same class and school. What do you think I should do? Well, this is where your logic and common sense comes to the picture. You can fall for her if you like. That's very pleasant. But you should know what is right, what is wrong, and what does she prefer. It is not about just what you feel, so therefore, this is how I feel, should I act on it or not act on it? That's one question. The other one is, how about her? How does she feel? And if she doesn't feel the same, then you shouldn't act on it. It's not about how you feel and if you should or should not act on it because of the way you feel. It's about also how the other person feels, and then you decide if, based on both facts, factualities, actualities, how you feel and how she feels, then you can decide if she should proceed, act on that feeling or not. Otherwise, common sense tells you it's futile. You're going to put yourself into more of a disappointing feelings, and why should you make any kind of a romantic overtures to someone who she's not available? If she's in a committed relationship, or she hasn't given you enough clear signals of her interest for you to feel the waters a little bit more. So, as a gentleman and a friend, it's always best to consider the feelings and the positions and point of view of the other person as well, before you think that, okay, I like her, so I should say something. No. As a man, you may like many things. You may like many women. I mean, we're programmed for procreation. We're programmed to love women. And we're programmed to be interested in what we think is a beautiful personality or beautiful physical presence of a woman. But that doesn't mean you should actually act on it. You can just see the flowers, enjoy, and feel the blessing of them being present in the place that you're walking or talking or living, but you don't have to go and smell them. You don't have to go and pick the flower. You just enjoy the blessing that you have, that you're among them, you're around them, and they're there. You feel enlightened, you feel energetic, you feel motivated, but you don't have to be in contact with them. You don't have to touch them. You don't have to know them, you don't have to be with them. You can just enjoy the fact that the energy have created such beautiful, hopeful feelings in you. And that should be the extent of your expectations from a lady who's not available. That's it. And then go on and be certain that this is not final. I mean, it'll change, meaning your feelings about her will change. You will go and find somebody who is available and you can, discuss on different levels, and then find out if you guys are compatible or not, and then find out that she's far more compatible with you than this one that you have infatuation about. So just because you feel excitement about a woman, that doesn't mean she's the right one for you. Most men, we feel excited about any beautiful woman, any woman that we feel is beautiful to our taste. But that doesn't mean that she's the right woman for us. That's just a physical reaction. I hope that answers your question a bit. In other words, just befriend. That's it. Now let's see if I find. Nardine says, hey, it's been a long time after the breakup and I still get nervous when I see my ex narc. Oh, was your ex narcissist? Plus when he sees me sitting somewhere, excuse me, he comes and stands around and shares some time. And it is just creeps me out, and he noticed that shake when I see him. Well, I am not sure, Nardine, where you are living and what the culture or customs or rules and regulations and law is. You as a woman, are you? I'm not sure. I can't see your picture. I am not sure. Just one moment. Let me read it again. See if it's. If I'm talking to a man or a woman. You see your ex. I don't know. Therefore, if you're a lady or a gentleman, can you help me out here? He is. He is at university. Okay, now I understand. Look, I don't know what the rules and laws and regulations, traditions and customs or whatever it is where you live. However, you as a woman must understand that you are strong as anyone else, man or woman. So you have the rights the same way as anybody else. So if someone is making you uncomfortable to that level, no more, and you can simply tell him, please don't come around me. I don't feel comfortable. I don't want you to be around me. And if he continued again, you tell him, listen, this is a serious matter. I do not wish you to approach me or come and hang around with me. And if you do, I will alert the authorities and they will deal with you. Simple. You don't have to shiver or anything like that. Just remember, just because you're a woman and physically maybe weaker than a male, it doesn't mean you are weak. It just means that's the anatomy is different. But you have all the rights and all the power that anybody else could ever have. That's why we have laws. And that's why we have come from thousands of years ago and become, so to speak, civilized, which it's a questionable thing anyhow. We're not really as civilized as we think we are, but anyhow, we are far more civilized than we used to be maybe, and that means you have these laws and regulations set in place. No matter where you are in the world, there's a different kinds, at least to a certain level, protection available that you can use that and act on it. But sitting somewhere and showing that you're shivering or afraid or whatnot, it makes the other person feel they're empowered and they are in control. Take that away from them. Why? How? First, don't shiver. What are you shivering for? You've got tongue, you can speak, you can yell, you have hand, you can stop, you can ask other people who are there, other friends, for your help, or you can just talk to the guy simply, if it's reasonable, say, hey, listen, don't come around me. Simple. That's the end of that. He stopped trying to talk after I ignored him so many times, but he just stands around. Tell him don't stand around. Tell him move away. And if you do, then call the university police or university authorities and, to the, security there. Simple. They'll take care of him. You do not need to be afraid. You are in the driver's seat. As far as it concerns your own life is concerned, you're always in control. You should be. You should not be afraid of anybody. There are laws around and you can use them to make yourself feel safe and comfortable. Brenda, hello dear. Good to see you. Brenda, remind me where you're tuning in from. Which part of the world are you at? You're welcome, Nardine. And you still didn't tell me which part of the world you're at, Nardine. Which country are you tuning in from? Okay, let's see what else we have here. I must have missed lots of questions because it says there's lots of questions here. Okay, so here is Don says, hi Mehran, hello. Sorry to ask so many questions. No, that's what we're here for. But to follow up my previous question, he says, how do you admire or like someone without it becoming unhealthy? Unhealthy meaning that it prevents me from function. From functioning well in my everyday activities, and negativity affects me mentally and emotionally. Look, this is part of the package. You can't tell me that, look, I want to swim in this water, but I don't want it to be wet. It's part of the package. You're alive, you're in this life, you're a man, and we are programmed in our genes for procreation. We, depending on people's preferences, people have different, relationships with preferences, but in your case, I'm saying that we love women. So it is part of the package. You're a man, you love women, and you're going to be seeing different kinds of women, different looks, different mentality, different approach, different interactions, and you can become interested in any one of them. And you can't say now, how can I not? There is no way. You will like somebody, and through your, daily things that you do, you may be infatuated with so many different women because that's the program is. But that is not supposed to, paralyze you. You're supposed to learn how this comes about, and because you're interested in that particular woman that you saw, or you're sexually aroused, or you want to get to know her, or you fall in love with her, that doesn't mean you should actually act on it, or you should expect it to get somewhere. You feel this way all the time. So understand it as part of your nature, part of your reaction to beauty, part of your reaction to women, part of a natural feeling that you should have, and you will have, and you do have, about women in general. And make sure that it is mixed with quite lots of respect, which means you will always remember to be a gentleman, to be protective, and not to be bothersome or to make them uncomfortable. But you can inside yourself love them. And what do you feel when you pass through a beautiful garden? Are you going to say, oh, I see these flowers, I don't know what to do, they're so beautiful, and it's just so lovely. What do? You just look at them, enjoy them, you pass by. You don't go smell every single one of them. You don't go try to pick every single one of them. You appreciate the fact that they're flowers and you like flowers. And you enjoy it and you pass on. Same thing with you in life. You have to understand that it is okay to feel that way about women that you see. But it doesn't mean that you should approach every one of them. It doesn't mean that anything should come out of it. If you understand that you do not need to think more than what it is out of that emotion that you get from seeing a beautiful woman, someone that is beautiful to you, then you'll be fine. You just see, okay, that was lovely. It's like seeing a nice scenery. Every scenery you see is wonderful. So, oh, I got to build a house here. No, you just see, you're by the ocean, you smell the ocean, enjoy the scenery, and get that energy, and you move on, continue your way. You don't say, oh, it's a beautiful space, so I got to build a house here. No, I got to settle down. No, I got to conquer it. No, I got to have it. No. You walk in an orchard, there's so many fruit trees. Well, you're going to pick one from each one. You're going to, bloat it and just die. Eat it. So you just learn to say, oh, how beautiful. Oh, it's got a beautiful tree. Oh, that's got a beautiful fruit on it. Then you just walk by. Eventually, there would be a mutual interaction and mutual interest. And then you will feel that. That would be more than just infatuations and all the circumstances are pleasant and positive. You're available, she's available, you connect in mental level, not just physical. You'll see it's not just a physical interest based on hormones, it's also based on intellect, and that's where the real bonding takes place. So be patient and understand that it's okay to fall in love with women, but you don't have to be in touch with them, or you don't have to get to know them. It's part of the package. You will see someone you will like and you can't have her and you just move on. That's part of being a man. Understand that you got to be strong and protective and protect the women from your own desires. Just doesn't mean just because you like a woman, you desire her, then that gives you the right to go and try to pursue them. You got to see how they feel. And if it's not mutual, then you just move on and enjoy that experience. That's it, and that's the limit of it. Akash says, hello, I am Akash from India. Hello, dear. I have a girlfriend in a relationship. We both make mistake, but when it's her mistake, she never accepts it. And it's like I have to say sorry for everything. Well, join the club. That's how it is. So what? So you say sorry. It's okay. If her expectations is just limited to you being saying you're sorry, that's an equitable trade. Otherwise, that she's got so many other wonderful things that she's offering you, her friendship, her bonding with you, interactions, and so on. So you say you're sorry. It doesn't matter. That's what you're supposed to. You are supposed to get up every day when you see her, before anything else, just say, I'm sorry, dear. And she says, why? You say, well, because I know sometime I must have done something yesterday that I forgot to apologize for it. So every time you see her, say, good morning, darling, I'm sorry. Then that takes care of the pressure for the day. But on a serious note, that is not your problem, that she doesn't want to take responsibility for her own actions or mistakes. That is probably because she has a different image of herself in her own mind than the image that you have of her, and she wants to have a certain kind of a interaction with you based on her expectations of the image she has created of herself in her mind, meaning her ego is pretty big. If she doesn't take responsibility for her own mistakes, that is one of the things that you may want to talk with her. He says, look, you know, we are trying to bond on consciousness level, and I'm willing to apologize for the mistakes I make. If I made you uncomfortable or insulted you, I stand for it and I make it up for you, and I want to tell you that I want to have a positive interaction with you. But at the same time, tell her that I am also the same as you. We're both human beings. We have certain expectations, certain ego, and certain conditioning. And what makes you uncomfortable also makes me uncomfortable. What makes you happy also makes me happy. These are what humans have in common with each other. So if you feel that you need somebody to apologize to you for some reason to make you feel good, be sure that I also feel the same. I also want a certain kind of a responsibility that you would take for the mistakes you make. It doesn't make sense that all the mistakes coming from me. If that's the case, you would never want to be with me. If I'm so bad that make mistakes all the time and it's always my fault, then perhaps it's a wrong choice you've made. But if you think that you want to be with me, which means there must be, I'm not that bad, and therefore the times that is not, a misunderstanding is not my fault, I would like you to show a certain maturity and, you know, own it up like me. And, you know, apologizing to me doesn't make me bigger than you. It just makes you so mature that you're willing to work things out. Perhaps she thinks apology from her side means that she's lowering herself. And depending what culture you come from, usually in cultures such as maybe Iran or Pakistan or India or, I don't know, other places in the world, that women are not always been given their full right, and they've been robbed from their rightful, you know, rights. They don't feel comfortable to say I'm sorry, because they feel that they will be coming even lower, because in such countries man is usually having the higher hand, or at least it seems that way, and women are usually legally and are being deprived from their legal rights. So therefore they have this resistance and a phobia about saying I'm sorry, because that could mean that they're actually becoming more, allowing more submissiveness, that the man would think that they're taking responsibility for something they should. They just don't want to apologize because they feel they've already been done wrong so much. So sometimes they may that might come into to play, and even though they feel that it was their mistake, but they don't want to say I'm sorry because they're angry about the whole way that they've been treated as they were growing up. So with someone who's close to them, like their boyfriend, they want to feel protected, and they want him to take the responsibilities of things that are going wrong, because they don't want to be they feel like if they would add more towards giving you rights to think that they're not equal to you, you know. And so you may want to discuss this with her and make sure that you know, you will not make that mistake. You will treat them properly. You will respect them properly, and to make them feel comfortable to say I'm sorry to you, not as a, you know, submissive way of I'm sorry. You know, women don't like to say I'm sorry because they've been done wrong a lot. I'm not saying every woman is right. No, they do lots of wrong things themselves. We know, everybody knows that. But in your case, you have to be understanding where the roots of it comes from and be tolerant. So say, I'm sorry. I know, I know it's not that pleasant. Just constantly feel like you have to. Also, it's the other way around. If it is correct too, remember, and there's also the other side of the story that women are so in demand, and everybody is enthused to get to know them, and there's so many men who want to approach women for right or wrong reasons, but the numbers of men wanting to get to know a woman is a lot more than number of women who wants to know a certain man. So because of that, women feel empowered as well, and therefore they don't easily want to take responsibility for their mistakes. They don't want to apologize, because they say, if this one doesn't comply to my wishes, so I get rid of him, there's another one, because they're all lining up. And lo and behold, they don't realize that the ones who are lining up may just be interested in their physical appearance, and they may not be the good match and proper people to feel comfortable with and treat them correctly and love them, respect them, and want to be partners. But that's the illusion that in some parts of the world women have, that the more I get attention, the more valuable I am. And that would sometimes cause them to be very tough-headed and don't even want to take responsibility for their own actions or mentality, and always consider that that's their right to do whatever the heck it is that they want to do. But if the same thing is done by their boyfriend, they want to cut his head. So these are some things that perhaps through a discussion you can open it up together, and together discuss about it and find out the roots of where this conditioning, where this way of thinking, what does it have to do with the society, the community, the customs and cultures and religions possibly. Discuss it together and figure it out. Otherwise, you cannot dominate her and she cannot dominate you. You just have to become more tolerant and respectful to each other, to each other's right and to yourselves, and then deal with it that way and solve it together. It's not one-way street. Together. Communication will make things much easier. Okay, now Ryan says, some, with brackets, some women couldn't admit their mistakes or apologize to a man because they have the upper hand. Oh, okay. In a relationship, some know the man wants to. Okay, yeah. Similar to what we discussed. Okay, now, Batur says, hello, sir, hello, dear. Can you tell us the things that you have experienced during your life adventure until this time? I didn't find any question. So you want me to go to the ancient history and from there to come back? That'll be like another 61 years before I can complete that. So, Batur, while I understand your enthusiasm for getting to know some experiences of my life, but it is best if we go through the questions, so it will be specific questions and I can relate to that and figure out how we can direct the discussion. Gina says, I have an ex I still love after 23 years. Ooh. Even when we were not together, after 23 years, you mean it's 23 years ago you met this man and you had a relationship with him and you've broken up with him for 23 years and you still love him? Is that what you're saying? She says, I don't understand why I love him for so long. He was my first love. Does this happen to people? when it is your first love, I understand, Ian, when it is your first love, at that time, at the time of first love, you have no expectations, you have no standards, you haven't seen anything, you don't know about yourself, who you are, what you are really, what to expect. Your level of expectations are so basic, you have no, so you're really like a plain sheet of paper that all kinds of impressions could, fall on her. So when you meet someone, everything seems fine because you have no expectation. So there's no division, there's no confrontation, there's no division between what you expect and what is being offered and what the interaction is. So everything seems so pleasant and wonderful. And when it breaks down, breaks up, forever and ever you will think that this was a perfect combination, perfect relationship. But it was perfect because at that time in your life, you hadn't developed any expectations, any standards. Anything goes. It was all good. It was all good experience. But later on, if you bring the same person to your life today, with all the wisdom and knowledge and experience that you've gained through your life, you have certain expectations, certain standards, and the question is, would that person meet your standards, your expectations, your needs, and is in harmony with the plans that you have in your life and things you want to achieve, and is it going to be a hindrance or is it going to be an encouragement? So all of that comes to work. But you don't consider any of that. You're only considering the feelings you had then with that person, while at that time you were not this person that you are today. You were just a girl who were just experiencing for the first time what love and connection is. And for you, that's what you remember, and you think that is what it will be today if you guys were together. No, not at all. At that time you were a person who had no knowledge of how things should be in your own opinion, based on your own experience and expectations, because you had none. Therefore, the pleasant feelings that you remember is from the time that you didn't have any particular agenda or expectations or standards in your mind. And you cannot compare that feeling to bring it here and say, I still miss him. That person is probably not gonna fit what you're expecting, and that person is not the same person that he was then. He was a kid. And now it could be a totally different person that wouldn't even feel the same way or wouldn't even think the same way to have a positive effect as that relationship did on you at that age of yours. So if you understand the changes that are at the works and what we just talked about, then you will kind of see, okay, it's an illusion you have created of that relationship, of that person, and you think that illusion can actually and is actually the actuality of how it will be, how you would feel right now. It was just like a snapshot of that person at that age. That person is not the same person, and you're not the same person, and that wasn't the whole of him that you experienced, and that wasn't the whole of you that you know about yourself. So the whole thing is changed. It's just a memory. Enjoy the memory, that's all it is. You can't say it's love. It's just how it was then. And also perhaps maybe you're not so happy today from however your relationship is or was, and therefore you fall back into your memory when it was pleasant, and you seek refuge in your memory because that was just the time that you had no pain and you felt wonderful, and you want to bring that to make yourself feel good today. Otherwise, that doesn't mean that you love that person still. It just means that memory gives you a certain kind of a comfort today, which is not the way you would like it to be, the way things are right now. That's what I think. Hello, Rox. Okay. Looks like we have Ranjini says, I was in love and my lover cheated me by having another affair. When I came to know by that girl's friends, he said me that because I don't obey him, he has went aside her now. How should I handle this? Please help me. So I can't see the picture, and I'm not familiar with all the names of where you are living, so I'm not sure if you're a woman or a man, because the writing didn't help me much. But I have a feeling that you are the lady and you found out from other people that this guy cheated you with some girl, and when you asked him, he said that because you don't obey me. Well, the hell with him. Why do you have to obey him? It has to be a relationship based on mutual interest, mutual trust, and mutual respect. This obey business is stupid. It's supposed to be based on cooperation, and you may be expert in some things, and in that particular thing you will lead when it comes to interacting with that particular question, and he may be expert in some other things in life, and when it comes to that, using that expertise, then he could be leading that front at that moment. But both of you could be a leader and followers. But about obeying, that's a little bit barbaric or egoistic. So I'm not talking about, what your private, intimate times are, but I'm talking about general in life. If the guy wants you to obey him, then you better go and get a dog, or something that would make sense. Otherwise, human beings make relationship based on love and mutual respect and trust, and facts and logic and reasonability and emotions and fairness. Otherwise, obeying, that's just a bullshit that is being used by men for so long to subdue or control someone, because it would make them fluff their ego. So just tell him, well, why don't you go and find someone that would obey him? I'm not about obeying you. I want a man who would be respecting me and be interested in being a partner, a team with me. So, in other words, get rid of him, if that's his mentality. Which means you go and build something out of yourself. I don't know where you are in life. I don't know what kind of education you have or what kind of job you have. Focus on yourself and expand your horizon. Learn the stuff that you got to learn. Get more education. Get a good job and become independent in being able to provide for yourself, so you don't have to put up with that kind of shit and that kind of a behavior or mentality, and you will be in control. Whoever, whenever you want to comply with, you want to be in agreement with, or obey with, that would be your decision, not someone else's decision, and you would feel forced into it because you have no way out. You haven't made anything out of yourself. You can't provide for yourself. You can't answer your questions in life for yourself, and therefore you're hanging on to someone to do it for you, and therefore they will, if they're not a gentleman, if they're not a fair person, they'll try to abuse you and use you by this bullshit of, you didn't obey me, so I went with another woman. Then, get the hell out of my life, you say, and go and build and find a more suitable partner. Akashi says, okay, we talked about that. Batur, we talked about that. Gina, we talked about that. And let's see. That's right, Brenda. Ranjini says, I'm from India and I'm just 19 years old. I see. And in my case, can I step forward in my life? Can I forget his memories and can go forward? Of course! What the heck are you talking about, Ranjit? This is just one episode of your experiences in life. You're 19. You must focus on your studies right now, be educated, get a good job, and then you choose the man that you want to be with, not to be a pawn for their pleasure because you need something and you didn't spend time on yourself to make something out of yourself and you feel weak. Of course you can forget about. What do you mean? What's to forget? If the guy cheats on you, that's the end of that. Get rid of him. And number one thing is to take care of yourself and make sure you can take care of yourself in life. So the choices you make in life about the kind of partner you want to choose would be based on their qualities, not based on your needs. And for that, right now, focus on your studies and build something, make something out of yourself. And of course, life is not based on one relationship or one partner. If it's working and if it's based on mutual respect, great. If it's not, then you will forget it no matter how good it was or what kind of memories you have. You will forget it. Everybody does, and that's part of life. And you will find another and you'll be far happier. But first is you got to focus on yourself and build something out of yourself so you'll have the kind of confidence you need to have. So if somebody behaves that way, cheats on you, or talks like the way they do, that you just say, well, bye-bye. You go on with someone else. So we have Akash says, my ex has dumped me because I don't understand her. But now after 8 months, she comes back to me. She said, I love you, so I came back. Should I believe her? Well, yeah, why not? You believe her until the opposite is proven. If she's respectful to you, faithful to you, loyal to you, treats you nice, and you also are a gentleman, treat her nice, and is based on mutual love and respect and trust and fairness, then fine. Because people change, right? If she, just like from childhood you change to something and then you change to another thing, teenage life and another thing, changes happen. So she may very well be changed, and she now wants to try again. Maybe she went out there and saw that what is out there is garbage, not as good as you. She's coming back. But if it wasn't, then you can again make a decision and you say, okay, it's not working, bye-bye. I'm not, interested in this relationship. But now that she wants to make an effort, there's nothing written in stone. Even if you believe her today, even if she never cheated on you, never left you or whatever, I don't think she cheated on you, but even if you are married to someone, things can change. So you can't say if somebody tells you or has always loved you cannot change, or somebody who stopped loving you now loves you again, you can't say, oh, she can't change. Everything is possible. So take it for what it is instead of perceiving it and making stories about it, and see how it is. Paisin says, why some people have this habit of lying all the time? Well, because they're not sure of themselves, and they're not confident in themselves, and they can't think that they're qualified to get something on their own merits. Therefore, they don't have enough respect and belief in themselves, so they want to create a different image of themselves in your mind. And the image that they have of themselves in their mind, they feel it's not going to be satisfactory to the image that they should have in their mind. So by lying, they're trying to make you feel or think that they are something better than what they are, because they know they don't qualify, or that particular subject is not going to put a good light on them. So this all comes from lack of confidence about how life should be, how they are, and how their relationship with you is. So that is an uncomfortable situation. So somebody constantly lies to you, you better make appropriate discussions and possibly changes. So, could someone tell me what the time is now? I don't want to keep you guys too long. We usually spend 1 hour together, and I like to see if we have fulfilled that. And tomorrow I have another talk on the amazing things in the world, which I will put a post up, and you will see the link there. And if you like to join us there, you can. Otherwise, then we'll be seeing each other hopefully next week at the same time. And okay, then 1 hour is what our limits are. So it must be what, 12:30 right now? I mean, from the time we started. So I wish you all a wonderful week. Thank you, Prince. Yeah, that's what I thought. I wish you all a wonderful week, and thanks very much for being here and giving me the opportunity to share some of these information with you and have a discussion with you. And I hope that you will have a wonderful week and sort things out for yourself and be wise and thoughtful, and be good to yourself and to the others. And I look forward to see you guys maybe tomorrow or the next week. So, talk to you later. See you soon.